Have you ever stopped to wonder how your heart knows how to beat? It just beats. And your lungs, how do they know to breathe even when you sleep? You don't command this, not consciously. Your body heals, your hair grows, your cells divide in a silent, perfect ballet, without asking for your permission or your advice. What if your entire life and everything around you operated in exactly the same way? Why then do you live with the exhausting feeling that you need to hold the reins to everything else? Why has the illusion of control become the air you breathe and the lack of it your greatest fear? What if your fiercest struggle is precisely against the current that is in fact yourself? What if the anxiety you feel isn't a flaw in you, but the result of a fundamentally mistaken idea? The idea that you are one thing, and the universe is another. An I in here separate, fighting against a world out there. But look at the stars. They don't struggle to shine. The tide doesn't fight to rise and fall. A tree doesn't plan how it will grow. It simply grows. And you are no different. You did not come into this world. You came out of it, like a leaf from a tree, like a wave from the ocean. You are not a visitor. You are an expression of the whole. Your breath is not your breath. It is the universe breathing through you. Your thought is not your thought. It is the universe thinking itself in human form. You do not live life. You are life living. At this very moment, the entire universe is conspiring for you to be exactly who you are, where you are. There is no script to follow. There is no instruction manual to decipher, only the continuous unfolding of everything. What if the great task isn't to learn how to control, but to unlearn this need? What if your deepest intelligence is not in the mind that calculates and plans, but in the organism that simply knows? It's a concept, yes, but it slowly becomes a feeling. A trust that settles deep in your bones, like when you learn to swim or ride a bike. There was a moment when you stopped trying, and you just flowed. You stopped interfering with the process. You surrendered to the movement, and you discovered that balance didn't come from your effort, but from your surrender. Life operates in the same way. You are not fighting against the rest of the world. You are not a victim of the universe. This separation is the original illusion, a fiction that your mind insists on telling, a story of a lonely I. The reality is much simpler, and at the same time, infinitely more complex. You are the universe experiencing itself. Every cell in your body knows this. Only your mind seems to have forgotten. Imagine the relief, the immense peace of letting go of the ropes, of realizing that you were never in command, and that this isn't a tragedy. It is your greatest freedom. The universe does not make mistakes. The galaxies spin without your help. The seasons change without your approval. Why would your life be the only exception to this cosmic autonomous dance? What if true sanity, the clarity you seek so much, lies exactly on the other side of control? In a place that society, with its obsession for order, would call madness. A divine madness. The madness of trusting the flow, of understanding that you are not the rower, nor even the boat. You are the river itself. If this conversation resonates with you, if your soul is seeking a space for this kind of pause amidst the noise of the world, I invite you to subscribe, not to follow a channel, but to join an exploration. This way, without rush, we can continue this dialogue together. Think of your life as a piece of music. Society teaches that the point of music is to get to the final note, that the purpose of a symphony is its final chord. But that's absurd, isn't it? If that were the case, the best conductors would be those who played the fastest, and the best compositions would be only the climax. We would go to concerts just to hear the final noise, and all the beauty of the process would be lost. The meaning of the music is in every note, in the melody unfolding in time, in the rhythm, the harmony, the pauses. The point is not to finish the song, the point is to sing. Your life is exactly like this. We were raised with the idea of a journey, a path with a grand final destination, graduation, career, marriage, retirement, always rushing towards something in the future. But in doing so, we miss the dance. The purpose of a dance is not to arrive at a specific spot on the floor. The purpose is the dance itself, the movement, the spinning, the surrender to the rhythm of now. You try to live your life as if you were building a sentence, with a subject, a verb, and a predicate, with a defined beginning, middle, and end. But life is not language, it is not logic, life is music. You see a tree growing. Do you think it has an important meaning? That it's worried about the future of its species? A tree simply trees. It expresses its nature without purpose. And your own conversations, your meetings, your meticulous plans for the future, you believe they are serious and meaningful activities. But from the universe's point of view, they are no different from the growing of a tree. It is just the energy of the cosmos manifesting, bubbling up in complex forms, in conversations, in cities, in technology. It is all one great happening, a spontaneous and directionless event. You try to give meaning to all of this, a purpose, an explanation. You place yourself at the center as the great achiever, the master builder of a complex construction, but you are just another brick, and this does not diminish you. On the contrary, it makes you part of a cosmic cathedral, a cathedral that is not being built for an end. It simply is, and its beauty lies in that fact. You don't need to understand the music to dance. You don't need a map to flow with the river. You just need to stop resisting, to stop asking where are we going, and start feeling the melody of now. And here lies the great paradox. Your incessant search for control is the source of all your chaos. The tighter you clench your fist to hold the sand, the faster it slips through your fingers. Our entire civilization is sick with seriousness. We are so obsessed with ensuring survival, with making plans for the future, that we have completely forgotten how to live. We destroy the planet in the name of progress. We create anxiety in the name of security. We sacrifice the present in the name of a tomorrow that, when it arrives, becomes another present to be sacrificed for another tomorrow. It's a race with no finish line. And the cruelest irony is that all this seriousness, this obsession with the survival of the species, is exactly what is destroying us. We are dying from the fear of death. Life, in its essence, is not serious. It is a game. It is play. Look at the animals, at the children. They understand this instinctively. They give themselves to the moment without question. We, the serious adults, call this naivety, but perhaps it is the deepest wisdom. The wisdom of understanding that deep down all of this is a bit crazy, a spectacle without a script and without a point. And the attempt to impose a point is the most pointless thing of all. It's like trying to clap with one hand. It is fighting against your own nature. It is trying to be more than what you already are, everything. To find yourself, you must lose yourself. To gain control, you must give it up. To truly live, you must accept that there is nothing to be achieved. Life is already complete right now. This sounds dangerous to the logical mind, the mind that needs rules, order, purpose. It fears that without this pressure, you will become apathetic, irresponsible, that everything will fall apart. But what falls apart is not life, it's just your tense and limited idea about it. What falls apart is the prison you built, and what is born in its place is spontaneity, action that flows, not that is forced. True intelligence is not that of the calculating ego. It is that of the organism that responds to the environment. It is that of the hand that pulls away from fire without thinking. It is that of the heart that opens without asking permission. It is to act without an actor behind the action. The universe does not need your help to be. The grass grows by itself, the clouds form by themselves, and you too can simply happen without the constant interference of your I. This is the madness that the world fears, the liberation that looks like insanity, the peace that looks like giving up. But it is just the return to your natural state, the state of being, not of doing. Part of the difficulty lies in the very tool we use to try to understand all of this. Language. Words are like little boxes. They need labels, definitions. This or that. Good or bad. Me or you. Language divides the world into pieces. It draws lines in the sand where there are none. It forces us to choose a side. Reality, however, does not work that way. Reality is fluid, interconnected, a seamless whole. You try to describe the experience of being alive with a vocabulary that was created to separate. It's like trying to carry water in a sieve. The essence always escapes. The truth cannot be told, only felt. When you say I, you create a boundary. Immediately there is the not I. The universe splits in two, and your whole life becomes a negotiation between these two imaginary halves. But where exactly do you end? And where does the air you breathe begin? Where does the food you eat stop being food and become you? The boundary does not exist. It is a convention. We desperately try to fit life into these categories of either or. Either life has a meaning or it is absurd chaos. Either there is a controlling God or we are alone and adrift. Either I control my life or I am a leaf in the wind. But what if the answer is none of the options? What if life is simultaneously orderly and chaotic, meaningful and meaningless? What if you are at the same time the wave and the entire ocean? Language cannot contain these paradoxes. The logical mind short-circuits. It needs certainties, solid ground. But life is not solid ground. It is a dance over the abyss. That is why the great sages always spoke in metaphors, in poetry, in silence. They knew that any attempt to explain would be a betrayal of the experience, a reduction of the immeasurable to a poor formula. You do not need more information. You do not need a new belief system. You need less. Fewer concepts, fewer labels, fewer words, more silence. In the silence, the mind calms down, the categories dissolve, the false separation disappears, and what remains is direct perception, the feeling of being intrinsically connected to everything. Don't try to understand this with your head. That will only create more knots. Just breathe. Feel your body. Listen to the sounds around you without naming them. Allow the world to be what it is, without your commentary. In that space, the truth reveals itself. So what is left when you let go of the reins? What happens when you stop fighting? You do not dissolve into nothingness. You do not become a passive spectator of life. On the contrary, for the first time, you truly show up. You discover that the energy that moves the stars is the same one that beats in your chest. The intelligence that designs a fern is the same one that heals a wound on your skin. You are not separate from this force. You are this force. Life begins to flow through you with an ease your mind could never plan. Decisions become simpler. Actions become more spontaneous. You act as a force of nature because that is what you are. The fear of making the wrong choice disappears. Because the notion of right and wrong belong to the ego's game, the game of control. In the flow of the universe, there are no mistakes, only the unfolding of events. A river doesn't worry if it's following the right course. It just flows, bypassing obstacles. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, always in motion, always being itself. Imagine the lightness, the freedom of not needing to have all the answers, of not needing to justify your existence, of not needing to be someone important, of simply being. This is the great cosmic joke. You've spent your whole life striving to become something you already were from the start, searching on the outside for a peace that was always pulsing on the inside. All the seriousness, all the worry, all the anguish about the meaning of life. It's like a passing cloud in an infinite sky. The sky doesn't care about the clouds, it simply gives them the space to be. You are that sky. You are not the anxiety, the sadness, or the joy. You are the space where all these emotions can come and go, vast, open, unperturbed. This realization doesn't solve your problems. It dissolves the idea that you have problems. It shows you that life's challenges are not obstacles in your path. They are the path itself. The universe is playing hide and seek with itself, and you are one of its disguises. A disguise that has forgotten it's a disguise, and that now perhaps is beginning to remember the game. So stop trying to win the game. Stop trying to understand it. You didn't come here to rack up points or to reach a final level. You were born simply to play. Embrace the divine madness of not knowing. Trust the wisdom that breathes in you, that pulses in you, that dreams in you. You are not in charge, and you never were, and that is your peace, that is your liberation. Deep down at the bottom of everything, all the searching, all the knowledge, is just wonderful nonsense. In the end, there is nothing to be done, nowhere to go. But if you feel the call for our pauses to cross paths again in the stream of time, the way to do that is to subscribe. With no obligation, just an invitation, left to chance.